I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
Know that I'm coming into you live. I haven't been with you last week, but I'm here with you now. My partner's coming on eventually, Marie Jones. Also, I got my partner going to jump in this thing and say something with me as well, Julius Hall. AB, what up? Know we love you, brother, for giving us this opportunity and this platform, Ink to Ink. What are we talking about? Ink to Ink is incarceration to incorporation. This is an opportunity for us to share with our community, to share what? That there are many of us, returning citizens, that is, those of us that have been incarcerated, whether it was 20 years ago or 20 days ago. This is an opportunity for us to let the world know that we are successful. And that success is organizationally, occupationally. That success is also relationally. We got an opportunity to let people know that when we get out, you don't have to automatically go back to incarceration. We are actually doing well. And I love that. Also, what I want to share with you, I want to share with you the platform that we're using. It changes the narrative. What narrative? Again, that men and women, when they come out of incarceration, they automatically go right back. That's not the case. I'm saying that's not the case. I know countless stories of men and women that are doing it good. I always love to say when I come on and talk to you, I say what? I may have started this thing off wrong, but look at me now. I'm finishing strong. And I'm not the only one. There are many men and women out here that are finishing strong. And so what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, the title of our show tonight is this. Our young men, they still have hope. There is still hope for our young people. Why are we talking about that? Well, I don't know about you, but if you've been paying attention to the news, you would know that a lot of our young people are getting caught up with this gang and gun violence. A lot of them are dying. A lot of them are going into the juvenile and prison system. And you would think right off the rip that there is no hope, but there is still hope for our young people. That's what we're talking about tonight. We want to encourage you, parents. We want to encourage you, teachers. We want to encourage you, students and leaders, community leaders, that don't give up. There is still hope. As you see, Marie has just joined us. We're going to talk about what we was able to do this last week. I'm talking about it blessed us, and I know that it's going to bless you as well. But because of the news that we're hearing, because of the syndicates that we are listening to day after day, you would think, man, we might as well give up on our young people. But we are here tonight to specifically encourage you that there is still hope with our young people. What's up, Marie?
Hey Miko, how you doing? Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm so ecstatic, so excited to be on here tonight to talk about what we did, what the recap for visual and verbal. Miko, it was so nice to see those young men and how they took and talked and what they learned in gun and gang violence. It was so good. So people, it still take a village to help raise our children. Do not give up on them. They need that love. They need that support. They still need that listening ear. They need you to listen. They need you to respond. They need that hug. They need for you to speak life into them.
For sure, and I love that they want, as you're going to hear some of the stories that we've talked to you about. Now, we didn't bring it on air to show the video because when you're dealing with young people, adolescents, that you got to have those photo consent forms and things of that sort. But we are
Right.
actually going to tell you the stories that we have heard. We're going to also tell you what the event was all about. So first, Marie, tell them a little bit about OAA Savannah.
OAA is Offender Alumni Association where we encourage, empower, and educate one another. It takes a village, even in with the adults who are incarcerated. If you could have been incarcerated 20 years ago or 20 days ago. We are here to support. We help with resources, trying to our best to help resources with jobs, find a place to live if we can. We network a lot. Julius and I and Fred, we network a lot. And also Paul, we network a lot. So if you ever need us, Julius Campbell is on Facebook. I could give y'all his number again. He is on Facebook. He is a good director of OAA Savannah. He really is, and he cares about people and what he does. So, if you ever need a lending hand as far as finding resources to help, we can do that. Julius Campbell is on Facebook.
For sure, for sure. And what else we talk about? We talk about visual and verbal. She had to turn around verbal and visual intervention. What is
Hmm.
verbal and visual intervention? So often when we talk to our young people, we think that they are not listening, but that is not the case. They are, but their attention span is short. And so what we thought, we came up with an idea, creativity. We say, well, we're not just going to say information, we're going to also show information. So,
Information.
hence, visual and verbal
Hmm.
intervention. And that's how we are going to intervene into the lives of our young people. We are going to reinforce the truth of the message and drive it home, if you will. And so, in doing so, we came up with an organization. And what we say we're going to do is we're going to reach out to a few men, young men, aged 14 to 17. And in doing so, what we were going to do is an intense mentoring program. And what that intense mentoring program was going to do was reinforce truth, reinforce wisdom, reinforce warnings to our young people. And that's what we did. The first week, what we did was we brought on two mothers, and they shared their stories of how gun and gang violence affected their lives. And then, right on the heels of that, we brought in two men that are now incarcerated. They were incarcerated at the age of 17 and still at the age of 40 or more. They're there. And they were sharing how gun and gang violence affected their lives. That was week one. Week two, we came right behind that and we reinforced with visualization. We took our boys to the Campbell and Sons Funeral Home, and the speaker told our young men how, at an alarming rate, most burials now in funerals were by young people. And then after that, we had a Memorial Medical Trauma Unit come out, speak to our young people to let us know what was actually happening behind the walls of the trauma unit. And then we hit it back to back with a Savannah Mediation Center where they came in and they mediated between a man who had lost a son to gun and gang violence, and then the young people were able to just hear and participate and be engaged in that dialogue. Then what we wanted them to do was we wanted them to understand that there were consequences to what they were doing. So what we did was we were hooked up with this old Savannah City Mission. We were able to go out and we were able to participate in feeding and serving our friends and family, as Chaplain Welcome calls them, our friends and our families. And so after we did that, we were able to one last time have two men come out and speak. These men were their ages. And then after that, we had a graduation, and it was phenomenal and wonderful. And what Miss Jones, myself, and Fred wanted to do, we wanted to meet with our young people, because after that 4 weeks of intense mentoring, we wanted to say, okay, let's go back and talk to them. Because so often when you finish a program, you no longer go back and see what's going on with the young people. So Miss Jones, she had been keeping up with these young men throughout that space intermedium, if you will. And then we said, okay, let's do it. And where did we meet at, Miss Jones?
We met at Frames and Games in Pooler. And that's the right name, right? Frames and
Yes,
Games. And it was really, really nice. And then Julius, he wanted the kids to come on camera and to say what they learned from guns and gang violence. And they were phenomenal. They got on there and they spoke their truth of how they felt or what they learned. And I like. Can I call his name Miko? Even
sure.
okay. I like what I love what all Kevin. I like Kevin. Kevin, he said that guns and game is not worth it. He said it's not worth it being a part of guns because guns it affect families. It affects families how you make a mother cry if something happens to a child. So I like what Kevin said, and then I also like what Sammy said. I like what all. I love them. I like what Sammy said. Sammy said that it's basically all of them said it wasn't worth it.
Correct.
All them said it was not worth it. What they learned is not worth it. It's not worth giving your life and have to either you give your life or you can go to prison. And all in all, and they thought about the families, their mothers. And I had like that. That's what I like, Miko.
And as we continue to share a little bit more, again, what are we talking about? There is still hope for our young people. One of the questions that specifically we asked, we said, because of what you went through in that 4-week intense mentoring program on gun and gang reduction, because of
Mm,
that, how do you now look at gun and gang violence? And when we were asking, why did we do it through video? Well, some young people don't know how to fully, effectively articulate in paper and pen. So what we
right.
thought we were going to allow them to express themselves through video. And we told them,
Hmm.
listen, this is raw, uncut. Just tell us, what you're thinking. You don't have to say what we want you to hear. And so as Marie was sharing with them, I mean, they were at first a little nervous, but I love the continuity of each young person. They came in back to back and they were saying, listen, it ain't fun. It ain't cool. It ain't what
Hmm.
people think it is. And then they started saying, they were not just thinking about themselves. This is
Right.
what really blessed me. They thought about the effects that it had on their families. As you see,
Right.
that Sammy said, and other of the young men say, you know what? There are a lot of mothers, a lot of parents that are affected. Our community is affected, and it ain't cool just keeping it real. That's how one of the young men had stressed it. And as each person got a chance to share, then they went on out to enjoy themselves. But it was I guess the word I want to use is the sincerity that
Right.
we didn't have to force them. We didn't have to
Mm-mm.
control them. That one young man, he said, "Listen, I want to go first." He said, "Because I got a lot to say." Oh, and I love that because sometimes you have to. It's like pulling teeth, trying to get our young people to say something. But why is this important? Because on the heels of what's going on, it does your heart wonders to hear the story of a young person who says, I don't care who else is doing it. It's not
Right.
going to affect
And
me.
then, Nico, you know what I like? I
Mhm.
like at the end when Kevin came up to us and he said, I really want to say thank you. I appreciate y'all. He said, because I never been here. And he said, I had a good time. Where kids can be kids, like you were saying for a moment, Fred was saying for a moment, they can really enjoy themselves. They don't have to worry about the neighborhood. They don't have to worry about what's going on. They can really enjoy it. They went bowling. They played laser tag. We were in the game room. I think I had more fun than now. We were in the game room. The director right there, Julius, he was down on one knee playing the game. So we really, and his wife, Daria, she been playing. She even taught me how to play the piano thing. So we really had a nice time with the kids.
Hey, exactly. And you know what I love? I love what Fred did. Fred, before we began, Fred got all the young people together and he said, listen, he is the director of Filling the Gap. That's an organization where, what do you do now after you have mentored? Well, you fill in the gap. And so as he was talking about filling in the gap, he said, listen, we need to have some type of training and apprenticeship,
Hmm.
if you will. He said because he wanted the young people to move from just talking now to training. And so what he did was he had compiled a collection of employment organizations and careers, and he began to ask them, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself in a year or two? And so as the young men gathered around him and began to share with him what they were interested in, like one of our young persons said that he wanted to be a zoologist. That's a big word for a young person, but nevertheless, when he said that, one of the things that Mr. Green wanted to do is, reach out right now, contact a zoo, and then let's see if we can do like an internship, or let's see if we,
Yes.
there's something. So we were trying to be creative, and in this society and in this culture where everything is vying for the attention of our young people, we must be creative. Do you not agree, Marie?
I do agree. I so agree. And I like the part that Fred would even take the initiative to reach out to a zoo so that he can have that. You know what, Miko, if he can go to an actual zoo and do the what you call it, the volunteering or the work, work there as a volunteer, and he want to be a zoologist, that would be, I think I like that.
For
I
sure.
really, really like that. I
I
really
love,
like that.
listen what we say. One of our listeners said that it's good to let the kids inside to come out every so often, and that's what we did. Marie, you always say there is nothing here in Savannah for our kids to do, and what we were able
Right.
to do that day was we were able to provide something for our kids to do. And matter of fact, at this moment, a shout out to John Bush and Isaac Felton and Miss Lott, the neighborhood. What's the name of this? It's the city, but it's the neighborhood management team, neighborhood
Mhm.
association. They gave us an opportunity to say, listen, we want you to do something, and can y'all come up with something? We will assist. And so they gave us funds to take these
Yes.
men out to be able to do something. And I believe that partnering with them, shout out again, also with Youth Intercept. Youth Intercept
Yes.
of Mr. Marlon Knight, also Miss Sylvia Spalding, and Miss Kathy. Working together with that team, we were able to provide something here in Savannah. And at that moment, I knew that our young men were safe. At that moment, I
Yes.
that we adults were investing in these young men. So shout out, what you think, Marie, to John Bush and Isaac Felton, Miss Lott. Shout out to Youth Intercept for partnering
Yes.
with OAA. What you want to say?
I want to say thank you for taking the opportunity to even consider us. I think that even they watch what we do, Miko. That's what I love what John Bush said about your character and your integrity. You understand? That character speaks for a lot. And those young boys, you can be an example for them, Miko. You and Fred Green, examples for them. They need that. They need that type of example. So I really thank you, Mr. Bush. I thank you, Isaac, for taking the opportunity, especially to Marlon, to Tree. Oh, Marlon loved them. He is hands on with those young men every day. And I love that about Marlon. He don't just talk the talk, he walking the wall. And a lot of people, a lot of people talk the talk, but is not walking the wall. You can't give up on our babies. You cannot give up on them. You cannot.
For sure. And you know what? I love what Daria said. She said internship and on-job shadowing. That's something that we're going to talk about in just a moment. But you know what? Again, one more time, shout out to the city for helping us to be able to do this by sponsoring what V&V was able to do. Shout out again with the partnership with Youth Intercept, Miss Kathy, Miss Spalding, and Tree, Marlon Knight, for working with us in tandem. Because what we did, all of us, every one of
Yes.
us has a job. But what we did after we got off that job, 5 o'clock, we traversed that traffic all the way to Pula for an hour or so to get to that arcade, and spent another 2 hours with our young people. That is working in the trenches. That is dedication and commitment. That is people putting their mouth. Is that right? Putting their money where their mouth is. Yeah, putting their
That's
money.
it. That's it right there. That's it, Miko.
Putting their money where their mouth is. So
That's
that's what
it.
I want to share that right now. You know, as long as there is breath in their bodies, there is always hope. Again, tonight's show, just to encourage our listeners, is there is still hope for our young people. Now, Marie, tell us a little bit about, you know, the excitement that that you got when you was there to be able to see that, because so often you've told me that, listen, there's another baby that was just shot in the street, or listen, I just saw where another baby, you know, went to juvenile. But as a mother, because you got myself and Mr. Green, you know, men that are there, you know, in the trenches with these young men, but you are a valuable asset to our team as a mother. Share a little bit about how that made you feel.
Well, Miko, no, those my babies. I really love those young men. And when they saw me, they ran up to me and hugged me and said, "Hey, auntie." And you call me auntie, call me whatever you want. But you know, I love them. It was so exciting to see them. And I like you know, the tall one, Miko, he's 17 years old. And you told him, you say, now if you had to speak to someone, look into that phone, look into the camera, and if you had to speak to someone, what would you tell the next young man? You know, because they can reach each other better than we can. And
Right.
he said he'll tell them that it's not worth it. Don't do it.
That was Dewan. And
It
you know
is.
what I loved about that? It was his birthday. You know what? And remember what he said? He said, man, today is my birthday. He didn't know what was going to go down, but that day he got a chance to really enjoy himself.
He
I'm talking about
did.
the kid, right?
That's right. He did. And guess what? What a better way. He was free. He was not hurt. And I really, really enjoyed them, Miko. I really, really enjoyed them. It makes me smile to know that they're all right. It makes me smile to know that we put a smile on their face that day, you know. And I want us to take and do a recap again.
We will. We will. And what was
Yes.
the purpose? In fact, let's let the people know what was the purpose. We called it a follow-up to verbal and visual intervention. We followed up because we didn't just want to intensely go hard for 4 weeks with these young men and then not see the results. We wanted, and this was a part of our deliverables, if you will. This was a part of there's a word that we use, a proof. What was the proof? How was this program measurable? And so at the end of the 4 weeks, we say we're going to go back and then we're going to see if we change their perspective. And I believe that we did. We changed their perspective. And so when we got together on those, that I think we spent about 2.5 hours together with those young men by doing 3 things. As she said, number 1, we were able to bowl. Number 2, we did laser tag. Now, not me. I wasn't the only one that did laser tag. Matter of fact, that's just too much energy for me. But it was like, I believe we went from laser tag to the arcade. And then, of course, we ate together. And so in doing so, they were able to have fun. That night, I guarantee you, parents did not have to fear where their young people was. Marie said something at the beginning. She says, it takes a village. We've heard that so often. Well, we was able to prove that this time. You had parents working together with organizations. Those organizations, again, were Offender Alumni Association Savannah, along with Filling the Gap. Then we also had Youth Intercept working in tandem with OAA Savannah. Then we had the Savannah City working with us, the City of Neighborhood and Safety, Mr. John Bush and Isaac Felton and Ms. Lott. So you had a variety of organizations and people working together. If we can do that on a small grassroots scale, how much more can we do that on a larger, grander scale? What do you think about that, Marie? If we can just get churches and organizations and neighborhoods to work together, what do you think we can accomplish?
Or we can accomplish a lot. We can accomplish a lot, Miko, if we just have the church, especially the churches. You said churches and neighborhoods come together. We can do a lot. We can reach more than, look at the 10 young men we reach. We can reach way more than that. But we must come together. It's not about being at odds with each other, or what's the word I'm looking for, Daria? You know, how competition. It's not about competition. It's about coming together, and the main source is the kids.
Right.
Those
And
about
then not only
that's
that,
our focus.
commitment too, Marie. It takes, because so often somebody may come and then they go, and we don't have that commitment. You know, there needs to be a level of commitment from men, especially because we have women. You can ask
Yeah.
a woman, a mother, or a single parent, you can say, listen, we need help, and they're on it. But it is difficult finding men, and that is our appeal. We're asking, definitely with OAA, we're asking, you know, if you have a passion and a desire to help, by all means, reach out to us. My name again is Julius T. Campbell at Outlook dot org. No, .com. Julius T. Campbell at Outlook.com. Again, Julius T. Campbell at Outlook.com. And we would definitely want for your help. We want your assistance. So as we get ready to turn this corner and get ready to end, I just want to do a brief recap once again. What is the title of tonight's show? Again, there is still hope for our young people. Why do we think that is important? Because of what we're hearing in the news. Many of our young people are being cut down in the prime of youth. And you keep hearing it so often that you would think there is no hope. But there was, for 10 young men that night, we saw that there was still hope because we brought a community together. We
Yeah.
brought organization together. We brought parents together. I see what you're saying. Love does not compete. Love looks beyond the faults and it sees the need. And we want to be creative. There are some other things that we're getting ready to come up with. And as we come up with them, we need assistance, be it financial or also be it just physical, your presence, your assistance, your help. So Marie, look right here, as I told Joanne to do right now, you have this opportunity. Would you please just speak just for a moment to those that are listening? First, I want you to speak to the adults and let them know that there is still hope for our young people.
There's so much hope for the young people, but we must, grown people, we must show them that we're concerned. We must show them that we love them. We must show that. I love what one young man said to me. He said that no one never told him that they were proud of him. We must speak that to them. We must speak life into them, regardless of how they act. I know as a mother, I get frustrated, but you have to speak life into them. You have to be, when it's a dead situation, you feel like no, speak life into them. They need to hear that from you. They need that. That young man say nobody has ever told him that, and he's 17. So guess what I told them? If no one has ever said that I'm proud of you. Speak life into those young men. Those young men need that. They have to deal with society, and then come home. And I don't know what they deal with at home, but what I want to say is I love them. Grown people, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it.
I agree. And I also speak to the young people that may be listening to us. Would you encourage them as well?
Young people, I just want to say, I love you. I love you. And if you ever need me, my name is Marie Jones and I am on Facebook. And Julius Campbell is also on Facebook. If you ever need me, that's one thing I told the young man who Miko was mentoring. I told him, I said, guess what, Cam? If you need me, call me. And I told the young man who we mentored through visual and verbal. I told them, I said, if you need me, call me. And I said, I promise you I'll come. They need to know that somebody's going to be there. Guess what? I'm the one who will be there because I'm a mother. I'm a mother. And guess what? I know that I will want somebody in the time to be there for my children, for my sons and my daughters. We have to be there. We got to stop talking and actually do. Because when you talk to these young kids, when you build when they have a sense of they can trust you, when they have that sense that they can trust you, guess what they'll do? They'll begin to, this phone gets on my nerves. Jesus. Miko, the phone, you hear me, Miko?
We hear you well. Continue speaking. We hear you well.
Okay. When they have a sense that they can trust you, Miko, guess what they'll do? Begin to open up to you. Cam opened up to me. Cam opened up to me and told me that he was in a game. And he talked to my sons. He told my sons, don't do that. And I said, Cam, as smart as you are, why are you a part of a game? He said, you know what? He said, Miss Marie, he said, it's not that you want to be a part. He said, sometimes it's a situation living in the neighborhood that you live in.
And that is true.
So,
There's so many different reasons for why our young people are doing what they're doing. A friend of mine once said to me, she said that I don't look at the what, I look at the why. Why did they do what they do? That's
Right.
when she said that. And so don't get me wrong. I do know it is frustrating seeing time after time our young people make the wrong choices. But don't give up on all, because as we're stating today, there is still hope for our young people. So as we get ready to close, Maria, I appreciate you being here with us. We're not going to stay on long. We just wanted to encourage the people. We just wanted to motivate the people. We just wanted to give them an example, a concrete example of how there is still hope by those young men that we were able to spend that time with on Wednesday. Those young men that we were able to take out and just enjoy the youth, those young men that told us verbally out of their mouth that we can do it, that we are excited about where we are, that I need somebody to tell me I'm proud of them. I want you to know, people, I want you to know, community, there is still hope for our young people. You know, as I always say before we close, look at, you know, I may have started this thing out wrong. That's how you look at them too. Some of them are starting out wrong, but at the end result, look at me. I'm finishing this thing strong, and they can too if they had somebody continuing to push and root them on. So that's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to come before you these few minutes and just remind you there is still hope for our young people. Marie, is there anything you want to say before we close? Okay, so yeah, I see it. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Most definitely. Listen, you see a young person, encourage them, push them, motivate them. Thank you for this opportunity. There is still hope for our young people. Much love. We see you on Friday again on 8 to 8. Good night.
like that.